that's the book all in one page, so it's easier to search for things. So what I need to do now is to go onto the command line here, and we need to make a location to hold the file. So we've got to set this all up again because it's a live image, there's nothing retained. So I need to make a new directory called MLFS. I should export LFS to equal that location. And then I need to go to section or chapter 7.3. Oops, click on that window. Sorry, I need the main LFS book. I've jumped ahead here. Let's move that there and try this again. I need to go to the LFS book. LFS 12.3.3. Right, let's make that a bit bigger. Yeah, so I need section 7.3 here, which is mounting the virtual file systems. So first of all, I need to mount the LFS partition, which is dev SDA 5 at LFS. And we should be able to look at that now because, as you remember, gparted, it created the file system for us. And there you can see there's the lost and found directory that gets created. So now we can mount the virtual file systems. What am I doing? No, that's wrong. Sorry, it's not the new one. We're going to modify the existing Linux from scratch. So let's mount the correct directory. So mount /dev/sda3. So it's the existing Linux from scratch 12.3 at LFS. Yep, that's better. So that's the existing basic Linux from scratch, or what would be basic. As you can see, I've already installed OpenSSH, but I'm going to go through that anyway. So just imagine it hasn't got SSH on there, but everything else is on there that was present in a standard Linux from scratch build. So now I need to, where's the cursor go, the scroll bar? We don't need to make any directories because this is an existing file system and it's not something we're creating. But this is what we need to do, is to create these or mount these virtual file systems. Let's use an external mouse because this trackpad's horrible to use to paste. So I'll just paste that in there. Yep, that's done. And then I'll copy and paste these commands to mount the remaining virtual file systems. And also run this command. And see that's mounted tempfs as well. Now I'll go to the command to enter the root environment and copy that in as well. And there we are. So we're back now on the Linux from scratch 12.3 system, but instead of booting it, we're inside the root environment to allow us to copy and paste basically from the LFS book, just to make it a lot easier. So just to double check that we're on the right system, check the LFS release. There it is, 12.3. Right, so what I need to do now is to go into sources, and I think I've already created a BLFS directory here, yeah, with some of the files that I need. So I've already pre-downloaded these files to be used, what are required for all the tools that I need to have a basic system to work from, to access remotely, and to allow me to download the source tar files, tarballs, to allow me to build Multilib from scratch. Yeah, so let's have a look, see what I need to do next. Looks like I might have built all these already. Let's see if links is there. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just go through all of these from the Beyond Linux from Scratch. I'll just reinstall them all again. Hopefully they won't cause any issues. But I'll do them in the order that's required. So first thing I want to install is wget, because that allows me to basically download other files from within this environment. So let's find wget. Oh, there it is there. There's a link to it. There it is there, and you can see it recommends installing libpsl and it needs make ca at runtime. So let's get those two up in new tab. And what's the optional say? It's probably not in. Oops. Oh yeah, I forgot this is one big one big document. So scrolling means it jumps pages at a time rather than a few lines at a time. Right, there we go. So I'll use the cursors to move. Right, yeah, there's nothing else there to install. So let's go to the first package, and that recommends libidn and libunistring. So let's get those up and install them first. Libunistring, optional, not worried about. And again, optional, we're not worried about. So we'll start with libunistring. Libunistring. So I've extracted the tarball. Oh, crikey, I've done it again, haven't I? Libstring. Right, must remember not to use the scroll bar. Okay, so I'm just going to copy these commands in. They've bolted the commands together with 2 ampersands, which means that for all the commands to run, the previous one has got to have run successfully. And if it doesn't run, then it won't run the latter commands. So it's fairly safe to just copy and paste this in and wait for the commands to run and complete. Oh, that's strange. Oh, right, okay, yeah, this seems to happen a lot to me with all the mice I use. They seem to sometimes double paste the command for some reason. I'm not sure, it must be me. So let's start again. But it shows it's worth paying attention, which I obviously didn't when you're pasting the commands in. So yeah, that looks better now. So despite the fact this is an i7, it's a little bit of a slug, but it is about 10 years old, this laptop. It's reasonable speed, but nothing blindingly fast. And unfortunately, it's only got 4 cores, which doesn't really help much. especially for an i7, but there we are. It is a laptop, so that's probably why it's been disabled a bit like that. So this is the make command running at the moment. Okay, that's done. So now let's run the tests. We're going to be making use of this a lot, so we want to ensure that all our programs run correctly. Okay, so you can see all the tests that were run have passed. There's no failures, that's the main thing. Few skipped, but the point is there's no failures. So let's now run make install to install that. And that's that package done. Okay, so get rid of that tab, and next one I want to do is libidn2. Okay, so again just copy and paste the configure and make command to build the package. Okay, that was a bit quicker, that one. And run some tests. And yeah, that's all okay. No errors at the end. Install that package. And that's done. Shut that one down and we move on to libpsl. So again, just copy all the commands into build. And run some tests. And they've all passed, so that's okay. Let's install that package. And that's complete. So now we're in a position to build wget. If you remember, that make CA is a runtime requirement, so I don't need to install it yet. I think it's got several other dependencies anyway. So let's get wget installed. So once again, configure and make. Okay, and run some tests. By the way, I should mention I've obviously got these packages already. The way to get hold of them, because you haven't got any way of downloading within the Linux from Scratch 12.3 environment, is to get another tab up, become root, and change into MNT, LFS, sources, BLFS, and then download them from here. So wget, copy and paste the command there, and that will work, because obviously wget exists as part of the live environment, and you'll be able to download them, all these packages that we need at this point, like that, until you come to a point where you've got wget. Then you can download from within the within the Linux from Scratch 12.3 true environment. Now you can see there's some failures here, but that's expected. A lot of these are failures due to HTTP. I can't remember what the other ones are for now, but it's not a big deal. As long as you've got a decent chunk of passes, then that's sufficient. You can see there what's passed for me. It's almost probably irrelevant testing them actually, given the number of failures, but that's not a worry. Yeah, I've got here that only. Well, at the time when I built wget, bearing in mind I didn't have any of the other packages that still need to be installed at 12.3, but I've got in my notes that only 16 tests pass. Well, now I've got several other packages installed. It's actually turned to 19, so when you test yourself, if you do get 16, that's not a concern. That's exactly what I got. So yeah, don't be too shocked to see that number of errors, or failures rather. So let's install that now. Even though I've got a working one, I'll install it again, and that should be wget installed. So I don't know if it reports a version or a date. No, it doesn't look like it. So that enables us to download any further packages from within this environment now. We've got that capability. However, we still haven't got the capability to access the machine, this laptop, remotely for ease of installation. We could carry on with Troot, but I don't really like Troot. It's known to have certain failures sometimes during tests, and there's potentially even problems when building inside a true environment. So it's probably best to be in the native Linux from Scratch environment to build any packages as much as you can. So what we need to do next then is to install OpenSSH because we want to get remote access. So let's look for that now. There's a link to it in this page, and there it is. So it says optional GDB, Linux, and Shadow, etc. So for the moment, if we do need them, it's not that important to have them. Let's tidy up .get. So one thing we need to do is to install a group and a user for security to allow SSH to be run as a daemon. As you can see, it says that all the group exists, so it hasn't created the user because the user SSH do already exist as well. So that's why I've got that failure. You shouldn't see that failure at all the first time round. So let's extract OpenSSH and execute it. I don't think there's generally any additional options worth bothering about. Just copy and paste what's in the book as it is. Okay, that's built. Let's run some tests. Okay, so that's finished. You can see that it was a success. So I'm going to install this now. I'll reinstall it. One thing I didn't mention is that if you use wget inside this true environment, you'd probably get a connection error where it says something like the certificate couldn't be validated or verified, and it suggests to use a switch no verify certificates, I think it is, which if you add to the command line, it would actually allow you to download. And the reason that is because we've still got to install make CA, so we'll be doing that immediately after this is finished. Configuring, I'm not going to do this because I don't want to change the configuration I've got, but I will check it. But basically, instead of putting this command in, put permit root login yes there for that command to allow you to access via root until we've got a normal user installed if you're concerned about security. But unless it's something you're going to keep for a while and use long term, I wouldn't be particularly worried about that. If this is just a test or educational experience, and it's probably not absolutely necessary to worry. So I'm just going to check that the settings haven't been altered due to the installation. Yeah, in fact they haven't, because you can see there I've got my permit root login is set to yes still, so that's okay. This is for passwordless logins, and this bit's for Linux PAM support, which we haven't done. And don't forget to install the boot scripts, which are part of this BLFS boot scripts package. Let's tidy up this. So download that and extract it, and I just leave it there all the time extracted, because there's going to be other packages no doubt that you'll need to install boot packages from this. So for example GPM we're going to do, that's got its own boot script, so it's pointless just deleting it all the time. All you're doing is installing scripts. There's nothing compiled as far as I know within this package. So yeah, just do make install sshd, and you can see it does install some scripts and then some symlinks to the scripts. So that's OpenSSH done. So like I say, we need to do make CA for the certificates to allow wget to work without prompting that it can't download from secure links. And this has got a couple of dependencies that are required. The first one's P11 kit or P11 kit. It's a runtime only requirement, but it's got to be built after libtasn. So we need to build libtasn1 next, and then P11 kit, and then we can build the make CA package. So as you see, this hasn't got any definite requirements. There's a couple of optional ones there, but we're not interested in that. So let's install libtasn1. And configure and make. Okay, run some tests. That's all good. Let's install that. And we can install some documentation as well. And that's libtasn done. So now P11 kit. Let's tighten that other one up. Again, this is kind of a circular dependency, but it's not really, because the requirement for make CA is only at runtime. We haven't installed that at the moment, so as it's runtime, it doesn't really matter. Now, once again, because I've already got this installed, I've got to be careful that I don't modify anything in the system here. In fact, this looks like it's part of the build tree, so I will need to actually put this in and then run the build itself. Okay, that's built. Let's run some tests with this command here. They've all passed, so we can install it. And that's done. Oh, was there one? Yeah, one command here to install, to create a symlink. So that's P11 kit. So now we can install make CA. Just run these commands to build it. You can see it's actually overwritten. It's removed stuff and then reinstalled stuff because this already exists on the system. Run that command to get some updates, and obviously I've got an existing one and there's no updates required. If you're planning on installing cron, you might want to put that in, although you'll probably find that the directories don't exist at the moment. So it might be something you want to do to keep it updated. But I say if you're doing this just for the fun of it, just for education, it's probably not worth worrying about. So here we're going to be using wget to update some other certificates. Yeah, it says if you want to trust manually from a regular PEM encoded file, you need to add trust arguments to the OpenSSL command. So it tells you how to do it with these here. So I'm going to run these. Hopefully I'm not going to screw anything up on my system. Alright, looks like the internet's working again now, so that's why that's worked. And then I'll just put these commands in. And there's an example there. If you don't agree with the inclusion of a particular certificate authority, you don't trust them yourself, shows you how to override that and basically remove it or distrust that particular certificate or certification. So that should be it. So once MakeCA is installed, anytime you use wget, you'll find you won't be getting that warning about the connecting insecurely to a secure link. So it should automatically stop after that, because we've got the library of certificates or authorities